Hi, this is Stan Fitzgerald representing the Center for Renewing America. It's an organization founded by Russ Vought, who was the White House budget director for the Trump administration. And he is starting this organization to form a national coalition where we're going to work on border security, election integrity, and government oversight. One of the things that Russ specifically asked me to do was rip his videos and put them on our platform. So for starters, we're going to do that. My wife Donna and I will be working on the ground in Georgia with Wesley Ross. If you're from Georgia, you know who he is. So you could reach out to myself, to Wesley. We'll get you connected with the long-term plan if you want to help us. And we're going to be officially partnering with Veterans for America First to use our platform to reach more people in this effort to help save America. So please watch these videos, visit the website. I'll be on weekly calls with the team, and we'll keep you updated on how you can help.
Ken Cuccinelli, former acting DHS Deputy Secretary, Senior Fellow at the Center for Renewing America. Ken, so he went on and on about, oh, no, we got all these databases, and we're checking them once, checking them twice, properly cleared through the FBI. So why should Americans be concerned, Ken?
Well, if you remember the statistics about who's coming over, something less than 10% of the total evacuated were American citizens or even potential SIVs. They're throwing around different numbers now to cover their tracks. And you've got Secretary Mayorkas, who's using cover words like, well, people applying for SIV status. These are SIV is the folks who helped us in Afghanistan. Applicants are people who say they helped us in Afghanistan. And we have information on those people, but they're a small portion of the total population. We have very little information in those magnificent databases that General Milley likes to talk about the vast majority of people seeking to come to this country, and the Biden administration is letting them in anyway, shoveling them in here in enormous numbers.
And the cost of all of this is rarely discussed, but housing allowance,
it's true.
You get a stipend, obviously immediate ESL classes, kids in public schools. How does this affect local communities that will have to absorb all these individuals who've, most of them never been here, obviously?
Well, they've never been here overwhelmingly, and they're coming from a very different culture, something that's worth discussion by itself. These are not folks prepared to assimilate into the United States in the way that, say, people from Mexico are. This is very different. And the stipend you mentioned, once people are set up as refugees, which is what most of these people will have to come in as, they get interest-free loans from the U.S. government to resettle here. Resettlement agencies get paid, so they have a financial interest in getting these people into the refugee pipeline. They get paid to help resettle them. They qualify for all welfare at the federal level, and they get work permits to compete with the poorest Americans at the lowest end of the economic scale.
And Ken, to your point about the culture, the AP is reporting that U.S. officials are now looking into these reports that in this evacuation from Kabul, where people were just throwing themselves at the mercy of our soldiers, older men were admitted together with young girls that they claimed as their brides or otherwise were actually sexually abused. Ken,
and look,
do we know what we're getting into here?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, there have been for 20 years of our time in Afghanistan reports within the military of this sort of child molestation behavior, including boys, not just girls. And the military command said, look, it's their country, this is their culture, you need to leave it be. And so nothing ever came of it in the relationship between the two countries. But now we're talking about bringing people here. And this is a totally different story. And people need to understand that this is not that unusual what you're describing. Now, I'm not saying it's most relationships, Laura, but it's also, as observed by military members who've been there during the last 20 years, it's also not rare in Afghanistan. And if this is what the Biden administration wants to bring into this country, they're literally importing significant problems into our communities.
Yeah, Ken, there's so much to unpack. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
There is.
Hi, my name is Angie Wong, and I am president of Legacy PAC. We just came off a huge bus tour across the nation where we went and supported Republican candidates that were running in the midterm elections. We're going to do it again in Georgia for Herschel Walker during his runoff. And of course, we're mobilizing for the big presidential run in 2024. We would love your support and your donations to help us hold the line for the America First agenda and to support the next generation of conservative leaders. So please go to legacy-pac.org. That's legacy-pac.org. Thank you so much for your continued support.